Hello, everybody. Welcome to She Smiles at the Future. I wanted to just jump on here real quick and share some of my thoughts concerning this Ruby Frank situation. Everybody's talking about this Ruby Frank documentary that just came out. I think it's on Hulu. I did not watch it, but I know about the Ruby Frank case. When it first broke, I watched some videos on YouTube about it. So I know, what's involved in the case and everything and the whole thing. And I like I said, I didn't watch the documentary, but I just keep seeing people talk about it. So it just kind of triggered something in me and honestly, this got triggered in me when I first heard about this story, when it first broke. And also, I don't know if, you guys may or may not be familiar even with Ruby Frank, but anyway, I will explain in a minute. But there's another case from a few years back, like I don't know if it was like 2020, 2021-ish time period, a whole other case where it was this woman named Valerie Daybell, and it's called like the Daybell case. And anyway, that also triggered what I'm about to share when that case broke, and I remember hearing about that case too. And what I want to say is, so getting back to the Ruby Frank, because that's the current one that I wanted to kind of just talk about. This whole thing, I just want to say this, and some people may take this the wrong way, but this is the fruits of Mormonism. Okay. Some of you may know I was brought up Mormon. Okay. And so, now I know about this. Okay. I understand the Mormon church, and I know the fruits of the Mormon church. And I'm telling you that these types of situations where you have what has gone on with both Ruby Frank and her children and the Valerie Daybell situation and her children, this is fruits of this church, this Mormon organization. And it upsets me because what it does, it triggers me, because what I see happening in today's world, in today's society and everything, is the normalization of Mormonism and the acclamation of Mormonism into Christianity. That's what I see happening. And it's happening. It's been a very, very, very slow progressive thing that's happened. But what I see happening right now today is a turning of blind eyes, a putting of head in the sand by Bible-believing Christians concerning Mormonism. And I say this because when I was growing up, when I was a kid growing up, now I grew up, half of my childhood, I grew up in Southern California, okay? So in Southern California and just on the West Coast in general, Mormons are a thing. Like there's lots of Mormons out west because the Mecca of Mormonism is Salt Lake City, Utah. Utah is the Mecca for Mormons. Okay. So, and that's out west. And so they kind of spread out from there, like California, the Northwest, and everything else. Idaho's a very, very Mormon state. So, it wasn't a big oddity out there. When I would, if we were to say, oh, we're Mormon, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, what the heck, what is that? Like, what do you people believe? Like, it wasn't like that. But when I moved out to the East Coast, when I was 10 years old and we moved out to the East Coast, it definitely was like that. Like, nobody really that I would meet people, I have friends, they didn't ever hear of a Mormon. Like, what is a Mormon? Now we were in the history, Mormons were in the history book, one little paragraph in like my middle school history talk, because when you cover U.S. history, the Mormons have a little paragraph there. But, and the pioneers and how they went and, from, how they traveled from, Missouri to Salt Lake City and all that. Anyway, or Illinois or wherever they were, Illinois, Missouri, one of those states, when Joseph Smith got killed. But anyway, the point I'm making here is that comparing how it used to be, like when I was, growing up, being a Mormon, and what an oddity I was, like, growing up in Massachusetts, it was like people were just like, very like, okay, what is this Mormon thing? And, most of the people I grew up around were Catholic, so anyway, getting back to the point. Nowadays, today, 2025, like the Mormon thing isn't that anymore. And you might be saying to yourself, well, geez, Amanda, like, chill, like, what do you have? So, so what? Like, people are more accepting. And here's the thing. I'm not talking about the people, the ones the thing that upsets me, and I'll restate this again, is the Bible believing Christian community that shouldn't be pandering to Mormonism, yet they are pandering to Mormonism and Mormons. And again, I'm not saying we should be, discriminating against them or anything like that. It's just the reality is Mormons have a different Jesus than a Bible believing, Jesus following Christian. Okay. And going back to this Ruby Frank thing, like I said, the beliefs in the Mormon church are very ungodly. Okay? They're very ungodly beliefs. They're blasphemous. They're heretical. And they're not of God. Okay? So that's why I say I feel very confident and comfortable making a statement that these cases like you see of Ruby Frank or Valerie Daybell, and there's many other ones that I could sit and look up and name that I've heard about, that are showing the fruits of what it is to be brought up and believe in this doctrine that these people believe in, and what the fruits of that can come from that. Okay. The fruits that can come from that belief and that doctrine is what you see in the Ruby Frank case and so on. And I can say the same thing about a lot of some other organizations, some other entities out there. Okay, I can say the same thing about a lot of other entities and organizations. Okay, but right now, I'm just focusing on the Mormon one. Okay, for right now. Okay, because that's the one that everybody's talking about, this Ruby Frank. And it upsets me because it's just like, well, yeah, if you understood what Mormons are taught, if you understood what their doctrine says, you would have a better understanding of someone like Ruby Frank or someone like Valerie Daybell. Okay? And again, Mormons today, are so, they're the mainstream Mormon church, Latter-day Saints church isn't, it's extremely, what's the word do I want to say here? Watered down, politically correct, all of the above, than it is today than it used to be, even back when I was growing up in the late 80s and the early 90s. It's a different, they've changed their views on so many things, okay? But the point here is that these types of things, don't be surprised by all of the Mormons that are losing their ever-loving minds, okay? Okay? Because the doctrine that they have is whacked, okay? To put it lightly, all right? And this is coming from someone, me, who was completely brainwashed by Mormon doctrine growing up, completely believed in Mormon doctrine growing up. I was a brainwashed human being. Okay? I know what it's like to be brainwashed. I know what it's like to be under complete deception. I've lived it. Okay, so in saying that, I just wanted to share this and just say to you guys, please, if you are a Bible-believing Christian, do not what's the word I'm looking for? Do not think that Mormons and Mormonism is any kind of arm of Christianity, or is any kind of biblically based sect of Christianity. Okay? Or that they're just these people over here that they still believe in Jesus, so blah, blah, blah. Okay? Here's the thing. When I was growing up Mormon, I believed in Jesus. Okay? With all of my heart and soul, I know that Jesus was speaking to me, was with me. Okay? Growing up. He was in my heart. He's the one that started to tell me, he's the one that started to get, that kept putting those questions in my mind, questioning things about the church. Okay? But I'm going to say this. The Mormons need to be told the truth. By Bible believing Christians, they need to be told the truth. They need to be told that the Jesus that they're following isn't the same Jesus of the Bible. That's what they need. The Catholics need that too, by the way. Okay? A lot of people need that. They don't need us pandering to them. They don't need us, just kind of pretending like there's not something very wrong. Okay? There's something very wrong with the Mormon Church. There's something very wrong with the Catholic Church. Okay? So it's a difficult situation, I understand that. But the fruits of this are situations that we see happening. And what I see happening also, like I said, is this whole like inclusive thing going on. Like, and it's biblical, and it's biblical prophecy coming to pass, because this is what's all going to happen. It's all about this one world religion, every faith, everybody coming together under one religion. And that's going to include the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Catholics and the Muslims and the Hindus and everybody. Everybody's going to come together. The atheists, everybody is. I get that. I get that that's what's happening. I understand that that's what's happening. But it still doesn't change that it upsets me. And it triggers me when I hear these stories and I see these families and the children are, go through this suffering under these brainwashed individuals, because when you have doctrines of demons, you are going to have demonic behavior as a fruit. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. That's just how it works. And I experienced it in my own life. So, I mean, what are you going to do? That's just the reality. And just be careful, I guess, is my message that I want to end this with real quick here, is just be careful. Be on guard. Don't let your guard down. As a Bible-believing Christian, I see so many people, and the Mormons are extremely, extremely crafty the way they go about it. They're behind the scenes people. They're behind the scenes people. They have their hands in so many things that would shock you. And they're very good at what they do. They're very organized. They're very business savvy. They're very wealthy, extremely wealthy. So they have their hands in so many things, like you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. I tell people sometimes the different things that the Mormons are behind, and they're like, what? Yeah. And the biggest thing I see them doing right now is they have their hands in so many Christian projects. So many Christian projects. They have their hand in it, behind the scenes. Again, they're not stupid. They know if they go up front and present themselves and they're like, we're the Mormons, we're part of this, people are going to be like, what? Because people still have enough sense, I think, to be a little bit weirded out by them, okay, as far as just like Christianity goes, or, but it seems like it's depleting because they're winning people over, was what's happening. They're winning people over with all the things they're presenting to people because they have so much to offer. They have so much to offer because they have a great system, and they have they have things that work, and they have a lot of really smart people. Did you know that most of the people, like a lot of people that work for NASA, are Mormons? And again, don't get me, I can't get into NASA right now. Oh Lord, Amanda, no, I can't. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have never even mentioned that. NASA is not something I want to talk about right now. But just saying, that's just a quick little example that most of the people that work for NASA are Mormons. Okay? Just don't fall for it, guys. I guess is my message here. Don't fall for it. Please, like, wake up. Okay? Of course, look at the fruits of the doctrines that they're doing.